name is Spin Pixie, and I am Monday's hostess for Planet Pathlings. There were so many topics that we wanted to cover for Samhain that we had to do it very differently for this holiday because there's so many things and we're so excited to speak about it. So you got your topics last week, and then this week there are going to be 4 topics that we're each going to talk to you about. So today my video is going to be comparing and contrasting the different autumn traditions. I'm going to talk to you about my personal beliefs on spirits and ghosts, and I'll talk to you about the way that I commune with my ancestors. And finally, I will be giving you guys a recipe or two that you might be able to incorporate into your Samhain celebration. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is my personal beliefs in ghosts and spirits. Being that I'm of an analytical mind in that I'm a Virgo, a big part of me wants to be a skeptic and wants to say, oh, I don't believe in that and stuff, because I analyze things to death. That's just what I do. However, I've been in a few situations throughout my young and adolescent life wherein you can't go back to being a skeptic after some of the things that I've seen. When I was younger, I would see different types of energy fields, and my grandmother's house was very much haunted. And when I was younger, I used to see a lot and communicate a lot with that energy. As I got older, one of my first real experiences in seeing a ghost, an actual ghost, was at a friend's birthday party, and we were all going upstairs to her room, and as we were going upstairs, I noticed people were passing me on the stairs, and as they're passing up the stairs, the light around the stairs was dim, but it was there, enough for us to see going upstairs. And there was, as people were passing, I noticed there was a young man sitting on the right side of the staircase. And he was watching, just kind of sitting there watching, looking out and watching everybody pass, it seemed. And it looked like the ghost was about my friend's brother's age, probably 17 to 19 years old. Very young man. I couldn't really see clothing or anything. He was a shadow figure but I could almost tell that he was wearing a baseball cap, turned backwards on his head. And there was one girl behind me, who was one of my friends, and I stopped her and I said, "Am I going crazy? Do you see that?" And of course she flipped out and she's like, "Everybody come look, there's something. So you have all these girls that just filed up the stairs, going down the stairs. By the time they'd come back, he was gone. But I wasn't the only one that saw it, and I couldn't believe that we had actually seen some sort of apparition. And then there have been dreams that I've had that have been almost like spirits leading me to premonitions. The day that I almost lost my cat was foretold by a spirit that came to me in a dream and pretty much showed me exactly what was going to happen. So ghosts and spirits are definitely something that I do believe in, even though I want to be a skeptic and say, no, I need more evidence. No, the stuff that I've seen, I've been in the presence of, neutral energy, of, good energy and malevolent energy, and as much as I want to be a skeptic, I can't deny, the things that I've felt and seen. So, in regards to spirits and ghosts, I definitely do believe in them. I believe that sometimes they have messages for us. So the next topic I'm going to cover pretty quickly is communing with ancestors. This is one of the most perfect times to connect with your ancestors, the other time being Beltane. the veils are thinning and that energy is growing. That ability to connect is being harnessed because the veils get thinner and thinner as we approach Samhain. So there are always, there's always the veils, and you can always, make it so that you can come close to that connection, and we work at it, and it's the same thing. It's just that because the veils are so much thinner, the energy, the connection is going to be so much stronger, closer to Samhain and to Beltane. When trying to communicate with your ancestors, there's always things that we do. We do altars and offerings, and we make things, or we, do things to honor and celebrate the people who have passed on. For me, I think it is easier to do altars and things to those that I knew versus those that I didn't know, because, and that's not necessarily completely true, but it's just that I feel like especially since I have ancestors who are pretty newly deceased, it's easier to formulate those things, to know what they liked, to know what what they enjoyed, to be able to present that to them on Samhain. You know what I mean? I knew that my grandma liked certain things and my grandpa liked certain things, and that's what I want to do for Samhain. That's what I'm going to want to do. I want to present them with their things. Basically, a lot of people use tobacco in their ancestry altars because tobacco was a major thing, and it's also good cleansing, and there's a lot of different purposes for tobacco. But I happen to know that my ancestors, especially on my grandmother's side, smoked pretty heavily, and they also enjoyed alcohol. So that would be something that I would definitely want to put on my altar. But then after you get the altar set up and you have their music going and everything, then there's that connection that you can begin to build. I have a particular method of building the connection with my ancestors that involves an imprint on something that my ancestors have used. There is a mixing bowl, and the women in my family used it to mix the masa for tortillas or tamales or whatever. And I happen to know that my grandmother and my great-grandmother used this bowl. I think it belonged to my great-grandmother. And it just kind of got passed down, or they both used it. Either way, all I know is that when making things with this particular bowl, there was always a group of women in that kitchen using this bowl, around that bowl. Laughing, joking, telling stories, working, doing something as a family, as a united family, and there are hands of generations in that bowl. And to be able to use that energy to connect with the ancestors is amazing. To know that generations before me used this tool to bring the family together, I can use it now to bring our family together in another way. So I think that the way that you communicate with your family, your ancestors, is very sacred and special. And there are things that I do, particular ways that I work the energy. And I think that because it is so sacred and important for everyone to develop their own ways, their methods of connection, I think I'm just going to leave that up to you guys to decide how you want to do that. But I will definitely tell you that getting something, holding something, using something that you know that an ancestor has used in their lifetime, it's a wonderful idea, because it's just like, it's a rope that, their hands, their energy, their imprint is on. And it links you to the other side, to them, wherever, they may be wandering. So in this part of my video, I'm going to be talking about some of the fall traditions that I have for Samhain or Halloween. And one of those is to do a really scary movie night. So usually on Halloween, October 31st, I do a scary movie night with family. So either, are you okay? My dog's having issues. So at some point on Halloween, we get together and we start our scary movie night. And we try to find the scariest movies that we can find. And every year there's we find more scary movies. They're new scary movies or older scary movies that we didn't know about. And we try to see how scared we can get, which doesn't often happen that we get too scared. And then we converge on someone's house, and someone will bring dinner, someone will bring snacks and popcorn and stuff like that, and we'll have a little party and watch scary movies. And one of the things that I do every fall or every Samhain is that I try to learn one new recipe to add to my Samhain collection. Last year I learned how to make, oh God, what was it? It was pumpkin soup. It was actually you can use pumpkin or squash, and this soup is amazing. My landlady makes it. She showed me how to do it last year. And this year I am making pumpkin scones. I wanted to do soul cakes, but I didn't have one of the ingredients. So I'm going to show you how I make pumpkin scones in just a minute. And I can't wait to see how these things taste. I love learning new recipes, especially Samhain recipes. Whatever I can put on my altar new, that every year that I can put something new on the altar for the ancestors, for my deities. It's a really awesome thing for me to do because it expands my cooking, repertoire, and it also gives me something new to offer every year. So another fall tradition I love is when I get to go to a pumpkin patch. And not even necessarily just to pick out pumpkins, because frankly I find they're rather overpriced at pumpkin patches, but I love going to the pumpkin patch because the ambiance there, everybody's ready for fall, ready for Halloween and Samhain, and there's hay rides and games and prizes and stuff, and there's just fall type foods and stuff, and it's just fun to do. I went on my very first hayride a couple years ago, and that was fun. So yeah, definitely whenever I can get out, and whenever I can bring my dog to the pumpkin patch too to see what's going on, that's enjoyable, because I know that anything that isn't the ordinary, anything that gets her out of the house is something she enjoys. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I make pumpkin scones. So I'll see you next week, and have a wonderful and blessed Samhain. Until next time, many blessings. In this part of my video, I'll be doing my recipe of the video. We're all going to try and share some recipes that we do every Samhain for you guys. I was going to do soul cakes because I found an awesome recipe for soul cakes, but I don't have all the ingredients. So I'm going to be making for you pumpkin scones, because I like me some scones. I don't know about you guys, but I love scones. So what you're gonna need for this, you're gonna need I'll put the recipe in the in the video description so you guys have it. But basically what you're gonna need is 1 tablespoon of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, but it's really just kind of salt to taste, 1 cup egg, and 1 cup mashed pumpkin. Now I'm gonna put the ingredients for the way you can use the pumpkin if you want to use your actual pumpkin, but since I don't have a pumpkin yet, I'm using canned pumpkin. And then finally you'll need 2 1/4 cups of self-rising flour. And so let's go ahead and get started. So just when we get started here, I want to let you know that there's a couple of things. First of all, as I said in the video, I will be putting both methods for if you want to use real pumpkin and canned pumpkin. The taste, in my opinion, it was just as fine. Also, you'll see that I did not use bleached flour. I used unbleached flour. And I do this so that if I want to share with my dog, I can do that as well. Unbleached flour being more healthy. And then the other thing is I did not sift the flour. I think that the pastry might have been a little lighter if I had sifted it, but it didn't really change the taste or the texture, in my opinion. It wasn't overly heavy or anything like that, but that's probably because I did such tiny scones. If I had done larger scones, it might have been a problem. So, let me go ahead and slide my little pot holder underneath. So this is what they look like now when they're done. They look like little tiny scones. Butter and jam. Oh my god, these are awesome. Happy Samhain. Bye.